So on this one, this video here, and it's Friday, whatever the hell today is, 14th of December. I uploaded a video earlier today, but the video was shot yesterday. So in this one, I kind of just wanting to get some random thoughts out of a multitude of things. If I could properly express myself without sounding like an idiot. The oddities of life. We know we're going through, or went through, continue to go through these seemingly awkward shifts of consciousness, of conscious awareness around us, to where the world seems ever-changing. New Mandela effects pop up all the time, and it's popping up more and more in the culture. Not just that, but quantum physics is made a resurgence. I mean, it was popular back in the early days with shows like Quantum Leap and what was the other one? There was that, I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. Sliders, right? Similar concept. Sliders was kind of like a similar concept to, well, similar but different concept to Quantum Leap. In Quantum Leap, obviously, he was just jumping backwards and forward through time to correct mishaps of time, and then didn't come to find till the very end of the series. For those of you who may or may not have made it all the way through the very last season, the last episode, he finds out that he can never return back to his body because, in essence, he's dead, and his partner Al is kind of like his guardian angel, and it's just not 100% clear from that episode whether he's actually jumping or whether he's jumping into different dimensions, and or he's just merely in his head and he's actually died in the accident. That wasn't clear, but nevertheless, the point was made that he could never return home, and the whole point of the episode was he's always trying to correct an error of the past through history, so that he can, in the hopes one day, return back to his body in the future. And Sliders, they just high school student's friend who's a doctor creates a wormhole into alternate dimensions, alternate universes. And these people have a portaling device that allows them to basically slide through a wormhole into multiple universes. And within these multiple universes, obviously, everything exists, but it's all really skewed and really different. Like, it starts off in the very beginning where they're the universe are very slightly different. There's something a little bit larger maybe at scale, and then near the end of the show, they jump the shark and it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier and more expanded, to where they got like, Hitler won the war type universe, and a terraform by alien type universe. I mean, all sorts of crazy business. So, and it seems like within our shifting, within our experiences, the changes have been, to us, quite major effects. Some of the song lyrics and things like that, which is in Bible changes, or what we assume are all these changes, which, again, as my belief is, they're not changes. We're just in an alternate reality of Earth, and this is the way the history of this Earth and that Earth and every other Earth that we go to has progressed, based on the conscious awareness of the human mind within each of these realms that we keep passing into. But one of the things that I noticed, and this kind of goes into the deeper realms of consciousness and heightened awareness, that I believe all of us, all of humanity is capable of. And there's some of those of us that choose to utilize that gift, natural birthright, whatever you want to call it, and others who choose to remain, in essence, asleep, kind of like the Matrix style, you know. There are people that want to be that want to take the red pill and get unplugged, and there are those who just are going to take the blue pill and stay within the Matrix. They're just content having their own lives, and they don't want to wake up. Again, I'm not inferring that this is a matrix and that we're plugged into something, but with the advent of understanding the human conscious in a simulation, the few things that seem kind of odd to me are the glitches that we experience, that occur. Glitches like planes stopping in midair, which I see all the time. Now, I had no reason, the first time I ever saw that happen, I had no reason to want to see a plane stopped in midair, so it's not like as if I was manifesting that consciously in my own head. But nevertheless, on almost a daily basis, I see it happening. But anytime I focus my observation on that, and or try to record that situation, the planes all of a sudden take off like a bat out of hell. So it's kind of like it's like the old helioplanes, right? You know, they could tilt their engines to hover, and then all of a sudden they could tilt their engines forward, their wings forward again, and they could start to fly. But these planes are not tilting engines or their wings. It's just they're stopping, as if they're stopping in just midair. And then planes that'll be like in the distance, and this happens often when you see them stop, is when they begin to go forward. If within your eyesight there's a pole or a sign or a building or something, that they will pass behind it and then all of a sudden vanish. Or the sky could be completely clear, and if you turn your gaze and then turn back, they're gone. And I don't mean planes that are like so far away they're on the cusp of going out of your eyesight, and I don't mean in days when there's clouds in the sky, and I don't mean even when there's night. I mean literally you're just like looking at a plane and it's like, seems like it's less than a couple miles away, and all of a sudden it's paused, and you turn back and it's gone. It's almost like as if when you're seeing it paused in the air, you're catching the remnant of that plane, or you're actually seeing that plane. Then time catches up to that plane and it, teleports forward, which goes back into the one video I did where I explained me and my wife's experience of going south on one street, and then we instantaneously had teleported, as crazy as it sounds, to an alternate street that runs perpendicular to where we were going, and we were 2 miles away from our location, but literally at the exact same second on the time clock. And we both were tripping out about it because it was weird, and there's like, we're looking at our surroundings, and all of a sudden it's like, where are we at? Because this doesn't make any sense. So those kinds of things could be somewhat relevant to the quantum entanglement, they could be fully relevant to the quantum entanglement with the LHC and all that kind of stuff. But they could also be more relevant to a simulated reality. And perhaps for some of us who have the awakened consciousness, we are willing to see these events. Like even the videos. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the videos all over YouTube about people filming planes just kind of stopped in midair, or actually seemingly going backwards, which is another trippy thing. And yet, if you show that video to the general mass populace who don't accept the Mandela effect as being real, they will come up with every damn excuse in the world as to why that video is a complete farce or fake or has been doctored or CG'd. These are the same people who will not at all accept the fact that there are government conspiracies that are actually not conspiracies. These are the people who will not at all fully accept that we've never been to the moon. Now, some of these people, though, do accept the bullshit, and they don't believe in the moon landing, and they believe that things are fake. But they come up with an excuse as to why the moon landing was fake. And that we have the technology now, and the ISS is real because you see it. I've seen it on YouTube, and I see people showing it on YouTube with the thing passing by at tens of thousands of miles per hour, stuff like that. So that's like being half awake and half aware. And I don't know the discernment of us versus them, and why we're so special. I mean, you got the religious realm, right? It's a highly, quote unquote, awakened practice to believe without seeing. Now, to make that statement, how many of those people are actually believers, though, in God? They tout it. They run their mouths about it. They'll flaunt scripture about it. They'll go to church. They'll practice. They'll get down on bent knee. They'll pray and all these other things. But how many of them really, truly believe in that? They don't believe it in a daily. I don't believe that they believe it in a daily manifestation, or that they truly don't believe it deep within themselves. I said in a previous video, I actually went through a time period when I actually fully believed 100% that God, as defined by man, existed. And at that time, I had believed that and this was when I was a lot younger, but I had believed that because of some dreams that I had as a kid, that I was going to be an apocalyptic warrior. That end times were going to happen within my lifespan, and that when it did, I would be kind of a leaderish type person and be left behind at end days to combat evil. It's the craziest thing. So I don't know how many of us, how many of you out there kind of shared a similar experience and thought process to that or not. It'd be interesting to find out. Again, I don't believe in God as defined by man. I stopped that a long time ago with other things that I had researched and delved into. But that does not mean that, a creator does not exist. To explain just as much as science could explain there is or isn't a God of some sort or a creator of some sort, to this crazy madness that we call life. It just seems as though tech and living out here in Arizona, the infrastructure with construction is just expanding at a unfathomable rate. And again, I'm not a technician to some degree. I can understand a lot of mechanics of things. I can repair a lot of equipment that we have in the company I work for shop, different things like that as need be. But to come up with the concepts to construct that equipment, and I've asked the people who built the equipment, how they came up with everything in there. Well, of course they didn't, right? They brought the components together that already existed that someone else had already come up with the concept of, the routing equipment and different things like that. And a lot of them are using a lot more simple tech. A lot of it, some of it's higher tech and some of it's lower tech. But they didn't come up with the tech. They don't even come up with the software. They just sell the product, and they know how to operate the software, and they hired someone to build it for them. So even that's above their pay grade. And how deep does that go when you get into, designing? And I was into graphic designing in school. I was into architecture, and I was also really into writing DOS programming when I was in high school, where we had to create a video game through DOS programming. And from what I gathered, it's not significantly different than that now, even at the programming level, but way more complicated with like the algorithms and things like that that have to be used. And some of that stuff, it baffles my mind. Even the CERN collider, it's just mind-boggling for someone or multiple people to have come up with that concept. And obviously, it's possible to do so because it exists. The equipment exists. But that someone back in the day had created the original particle collider, and then they expanded on it and expanded on it, and they created all the equipment to monitor it and look at the stuff and everything else. And it's just phenomenal, some of that stuff. And of course, all things can be brought into creation through conscious awareness. But I noticed that with me and my wife, when we begin into this Mandela effect, and we're picking up on these things, and our sensories, are very expanded. So changes that are around us are very easily identifiable and notable, without the advent of the internet and watching YouTube videos, just physical things around us. But we also notice it like on TV shows. We kind of just laugh anymore because some of our favorite just let your brain just fizzle for a little bit and just seep into just relaxing down, like The Flash. We like those shows like The Flash and the Arrow and the fantastical things. And then she gets into the drama shows and stuff like that. But science shows, all that kind of stuff. I look at it from just an entertainment perspective, and I've always been into kind of some of that stuff. But I don't take anything from those shows as gospel, but at the same time, like I said in the last video, I believe there are bits and pieces of the truth in everything around us. From science to numerology to cosmology to movies and songs and television shows and everything else. So yeah, just kind of some pondering thoughts that I had today. I'm just putting into a video. I'm not trying to wrap or tie any of this stuff into anything other than, I've always felt out of alignment and like I didn't belong. And it is not any different now than it was back then when I was a child. Other than I don't dream of flying anymore like I used to as a kid. Like literally had realistic dreams of where I was like the greatest American hero, where I could just not get off the ground fully. It was always up and then down, and I was always trying to get it figured out. And I don't do that anymore. I don't hardly ever even remember dreams anymore. I can't remember when the last time was I had a dream and remembered it. My wife does all the time. Ever since I started to try to calm my mind down and not freak out about work and my surroundings and stuff like that, it's like I have more calm and peace at night. So it's like I'm not even drifting into a state of panicked dream thought or crazy dream thought or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. It just, even with being in this new world, it seems like just some of the acceleration of this transgenderism and the crazy things with like Canada and what they're doing with the laws up there regarding this transgenderism and different escalations around us, like Taco Bell doing the Illuminati commercials and seeing it more predominant in music, and hearing about the cabal, and then the cabal's in all these FBI, government, and conspiracy type shows on TV. And then you've got multi-dimension things happening in like all of the different all of the different comic series type shows that are on TV now, and a lot of the science shows, and dealing with black holes and particle colliders and so on and so forth. It seems never ending, and it seems like it's just happening more and more around us. So I don't know. Just some random thoughts of the day. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. If anyone wants to send me any links to any interesting videos, you're more than welcome to either drop into the comments or shoot me an email. I know everyone's pretty busy, and all of us have busy lives, and all of us have our own things that we do, so it's kind of hard to open communications with people. Trying to figure a way to make more time for that, as I'm sure some of you guys would need to do too. So anyways, until the next video, I'll talk to you later.